Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to my channel. This is ESAIA Mystic, and I am here with another message to help you free your heart and soul. Today we're going to be talking about liberals and how the liberal political party represents this distorted feminine energy, and also is symbolizing the avenue to what really feminine energy embodies, right? So there's this energetic signature around liberals and the liberal political party, their ideals, their belief systems that really represent and are pushing this kind of distorted feminine energy. So that is what we're going to be getting into in this video. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I release a new video. This is the channel where you can learn all about decolonizing spirituality and also primordial femininity. So I just want to let you guys know, the way I look on this video, it kind of looks like I'm naked, but I'm not. I have on a tube top, okay? I got clothes on. I'm on a tube dress. So I'm not naked, y'all. Just the way that I position the camera, it looks like that. So I might change it for my next video that I do. Anyway, just wanted to let you guys know that. So the liberal political party recently, since the lockdown in 2020, has really been coming out the woodworks. And I would say ever since our previous president got put out of office, there has been like an overflow of these liberal ways of thinking, right? Liberal ideals and ways of thinking that have set off a lot of people's alarm bells and have also caused people to align with movements and social justice movements and things like that, like Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ movement, under the assumption that they are actually doing something good, right? But what I want to say is the number one thing that the liberal political party does that is the reason and the source for why I am calling it this kind of distorted feminine energy is that they take real issues, right? They take real issues within society, like racism, like discrimination, right? Like, having people actually go through different things spiritually where that they begin to identify with, another sex or the same sex, or, gender, right, starts to get kind of confused. What the liberal party does is they take these real things, like it's a real thing, but they take it and they make it into what they want it to be. They take it and they make it into an issue that gets you emotionally riled up. And because you're so emotionally riled up, you end up pouring into their intention behind the issue. Okay, so I hope you guys are still following me here, because it can get really complex. But this is important for you to understand, because this is actually a representation of the feminine energy on the planet and what they are doing with the feminine energy on the planet. Like, listen to me closely here. This is a representation of what they are doing with the feminine energy of the planet, okay? And what they're doing is they sense, right? And it's not just, the social justice movements, but it is also the new age movement of spirituality and, all of these different things, right? There came a time, right, recently where people's consciousness began to really start to elevate, right? They say it was about 2012 when Pluto entered Capricorn, and there were all these different shifts that were happening, that the consciousness of the planet was slowly starting to elevate, right? And I know for me personally, it was around 2015, maybe 2014, where my senses, I would say even 2013, right? Like it was kind of like an escalation from 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, up until now, to where I was beginning to receive a whole bunch of information and downloads. And I know it wasn't just me, right? Because if I'm receiving these downloads, there are also other beings on this planet that are also receiving these downloads. So the collective awareness of people's souls, right, was beginning to elevate, right? I was beginning to see through the bullshit. I was beginning to see through the lies, right, in school and when I was in college in the education system. I was beginning to really piece together the things that were kind of all over the place before, kind of really emotional before, right? Because previous to 2012, I would say that majority of people, especially in America and especially where I was from in the South, like, was like over this kind of veil, right, of darkness. To me, it was kind of like a dark age, especially when you go into like the 90s and the 80s. Okay, so this is a time where people's souls are really elevating, calling for elevation and rising in consciousness. So with that, there's also been, like I said, from all of these different social issues that have come up, they've been these spin-offs that have been created on these issues, right? So with, the health issue and people seeing what's going on with the food and things like that, there was the veganism thing, right? Where everybody like pretty much got shoved down their throats to be a vegan. I don't know about you, but that's what happened to me, okay? With, racism and what's been going on with pretty much the primordial people of the planet for eons and eons, there's Black Lives Matter, right? And this social justice movement where people have been pouring millions and millions of dollars into a platform that hasn't done anything for me in particular, right? As an Afro-Indigenous woman. And I don't know anybody in my family who has benefited from the Black Lives Matter movement. Things are pretty much still the same in predominantly Black cities, right? Like Atlanta, New Orleans, and all of the other predominantly Black cities that I know of in America. Like, they still seem to be doing pretty much the same. Crime rates are the same. AIDS rates are the same. Things are still pretty the same. And even with the gender movement, right, and gender equality, and this is something that I really plan on going into much more in depth, but even with that, there's a distortion because people are, I believe, genuinely coming through, and because of the different poles that have been shifted in the energetic grids in the earth that have been tampered with from these beings, right, that are really at the core and the source of these political systems and these political parties, have actually tampered with the energetic grids of the earth. And so what I believe is that people are coming here and into these bodies, and they are vibrating at a frequency that resonates as feminine when their body is not, right? When their body isn't connected to that, right? And there are beings that are vibrating as masculine, right? And they're coming into feminine bodies. That's something that I am genuinely sensing is actually happening. But there's another part of this story that the liberal political party does not talk about or get into, and that is how when you are queer, right? And when you are, so let's even think about the vibration of the word queer. Sounds a lot like weird, doesn't it? Sounds a lot like weird. Queer sounds a lot like weird. So let's look at the vibration of these things, because when you are identifying as queer, what vibrationally you are really identifying with is being alien, right? Being like not connected to this realm is what you are identifying with. You're identifying with being from another source in the universe. And expressing yourself here in this place where you are not, this is not your home, right? This is not where you're from. And for a lot of beings, this is the case, right? This is the case where they're spiritually resonating, like they have a literal spiritual resonance in DNA, like genetic bloodline that is not from Earth, right? That is not from this realm. And when we look into like the movie like Harry Potter, okay, and the people and the kinds of beings that existed, right? Any really mythological kind of story, right? And you go there and you realize that there are many different types of beings. They're not just people, right? They're not just people, right? There are all kinds of beings that actually are embodying a like experience here on this planet. So like think about all the beings on Harry Potter, think about all the beings in any kind of mythological story, Game of Thrones, you know, The Wheel of Time, all of those things, all of those stories tell you plain and simple that there are many different kinds of beings that exist. But here on Earth, we aren't connected to that truth anymore. We aren't connected to that reality anymore. And everybody on the planet has identified with being human and being a human being, okay? And so what this does is when you don't or aren't able to really connect with your source, being alien to this place, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna think that you're just queer, right? That you're just queer, right? And this really hit me, right? This really hit me when I was like, I used to go to this grocery store. I don't go there anymore because I don't live in the area. But there would be this guy at the checkout, right? And he would have these long nails. He would have these long nails, a whole bunch of piercings in his face, some makeup, you know, his hair would be like, he was weird, right? He was weird. So I got to a point where I was like, this guy is so weird. I don't even want to really go to this grocery store anymore. Because every time I'm at the checkout, I'm just looking at his long fingernails, right? And like they're done, right? Not naturally long, but they're done, long fingernails. And he's checking me out and I just feel weird, right? So so I started going to like the more posh grocery stores for a while. Instead of, you know, the discount grocery store to get my bargains on my organic stuff. So I started going to the other grocery store for a while. And then I came back one day. I came back and the same guy was at the checkout to check me out. And when he checked me out, we had a conversation. And when we had a conversation, I felt like he was so cool. Like I talked to him and I was like, oh, he's cool. Like he's such a cool guy. I don't know why I was, feeling like all awkward and stuff. And then it hit me that he has this vibration of being queer, right? From another place in the freaking galaxy, right? And so, how do you express that in a world where everybody is pretty much monotonous? We all have to think in the same ways. We all have to believe in the same things. There's this collective overarching hierarchy of like what is right as far as like who we are and how we express ourselves. And even if it's not told to us that way, just look all around you, right? In the media, in society, like to really express uniqueness. You pretty much, what the liberal political party is promoting to pretty much everybody is to identify yourself as queer. Now, there is also another side of this coin, right? And the other side of the coin is basically, from what I was pinpointing earlier, is about how the traumas of this world are being poured into the energetic and emotional energy of it all is like being poured into their agenda and this political party believes in, right? And has ascribed to. The traumas of this world, the traumas of the primordial people on the planet, Black people and racism, right? The traumas of the celestial beings that are coming through, right? Celestial beings that are coming through and experiencing this world and not knowing how to fit in, right? So they become queer. And also the traumas of being a woman and sexuality, right? This also falls into, the feminist movement and abortion rights and things like that, and pro-choice, right? Pro-choice, and then also the LGBTQ, right? And then this other category would really have to do with people who have went through sexual trauma, and the reason that they become homosexual or bisexual or whatever, all these different types of sexuals, the reason they become that way has to do with these sexual traumas, right? And so a lot of people who ascribe to these liberal beliefs and ideals have a hard time processing that the reason, right? The reason for someone becoming homosexual could actually have to do with them being traumatized, right? They have a hard time with that. I don't know why. They have a hard time with accepting that there is and should be a level of logic and relation, like a grounded relationship with these ideals that you are promoting to people. So what the liberal political party in essence actually does, and the way that it distorts feminine energy, is that it takes the emotional energy of the people on this planet and it channels it into confusion. It channels it into chaos. It channels it into thinking that you are doing something right? Because you're emotional, right? You're emotional about it and you want to honor your emotions. But when the logic and the sense, right, around all of it isn't there. It's kind of like, and I use my mom as an example a lot, but it's a real, like, I really was able to make the connection when I was thinking about, like, there would be a lot of times in my relationship with my mom where we would be having conversations about something, or something would happen, and it's like she could not see the logic of the situation because she was so emotional, right? Like, I'll use an example about, like, how we all went out to go eat at this burger place, and my brother was in line to go get a burger, and he was like, the way that I could see the whole situation happening, like, I could see, what he was doing, what the cashier was doing, what was going on, everything around, and I'm putting two and two together. Okay, so I don't remember the details of everything, but long story short, the lady at the counter didn't give him, like, the correct order or something like that, and when he told my mom got mad about it. Like, she was about to, like, start a whole movement behind teeny boppers going to get, a burger from the burger stand. Like, she was, like, blaming everything on them, right? On the restaurant. She was so upset that they didn't give him what he wanted initially. And I was there and I was watching, and I was like, well, he could have asked, in a different way, and I'm putting all two and two together. And so it's like the same thing. It's like when you get so emotional that you can't take a step back and really understand and see what is really going on here. And this is the trap that people who are ascribing to Black Lives Matter, who are ascribing to the LGBTQ movement, who are ascribing to, pro-choice and these abortion, right? The right to have an abortion. Like, this is the thing that you are not getting because you're so emotional. You're so livid, right? And you have all of this, feeling going on. But are you taking the time, and are you really able to see, like, what this is really saying? Like, what is really going on here? And even for myself, I've had to, like I said, like I gave you guys the example with the grocery store. Like, I had to take myself out of that emotion, right? Of feeling uncomfortable, of feeling, weird, and feeling like I've had to take myself out of that emotion because in my life I have felt uncomfortable around homosexual guys. Like, I have felt uncomfortable around, gay men, because there's just a frequency, right? And it's somewhat different from the guy that I met at the store. But there's also this frequency around, like, gay men or homosexual men feeling like they have a permission slip from women to be perverse around you, to talk very sexually around you, and tell you all about their sexual experiences that they have with men, to, basically do all these things that I wouldn't even do with a girlfriend. Like, I wouldn't even talk about this stuff with a girlfriend, So there is this energy of, homosexual men wanting a permission slip from women to be homosexual, like, validation. And that's something that I've never felt comfortable giving to men because, I'm not into homosexual men. I'm into straight men. So anyway, that is the synopsis of how the liberal political party represents this distorted feminine energy and is channeling what is really supposed to be our awareness, right? Our higher awareness in what the earth is really calling for right now. And it's calling for our complete connection to the feminine divine on a universal consciousness kind of way, in a universal understanding kind of way, versus these really small and petty understandings, right, of what's going on in the world. So that is all I have to say on that, and I'm pretty sure I could talk even more on this subject. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If I triggered you, sorry. This is my channel. This is what I like to talk about, and I like to just lay it all out there. It's 2022. People deserve to like hear the truth. And also, if you have been thinking in a certain way for so long, then you definitely should be, you know, able to embrace a higher awareness of consciousness, a new way to think, you know? So anyway, I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you all in my next video. Peace. Hello, my loves. Before you go, I want to let you know that I have just opened the doors to my courses and programs once again, and they are available for you to now pre-enroll, or if you're watching this video in the future, you can just enroll now. So the courses that I have available now have everything to do with activating your feminine energy, and currently I have my light feminine energy program called the Love Potion, aka the Eve Gene. This is where you will be activating your Eve Gene and really rekindling your light feminine energy. And then I have my dark feminine energy program, the Lilith Code. This is my dark feminine energy program that is teaching you how to reclaim your feminine power and sovereignty in your health, love life, and your manifestation / money and finances. So both of these programs are available now for you to either pre-enroll or get started. If you would like to learn more about what exactly is and entails your light feminine energy, or what exactly entails being activated in your dark feminine energy, I'm going to make videos explaining that more in depth, so that way you have an awareness of what this is, what this even means, and what it's all about. But essentially, when you enroll into the course, you have the option to go at your own pace, or you can opt in for a higher level of support through group coaching or one-on-one coaching. And the options are available to you when you click the link down below. So there's that. And then I am also going to be creating a plethora of more content and courses for you to learn about essentially activating your spirituality and your primordial feminine energy. So if you're ready to become a part of the Sacred Soul Network and enroll into the Sacred Soul Academy, which is what my school is called and the community of my school is called, then click the link below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in there. And again, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.